violence threatening a shutdown should the city of Nelson Mandela Bay fail to address the dire water challenges. The city is only days away from what we hear reporting from day zero. The opposition is calling for a national intervention before the taps are finally dry. Joining us now for some insight and the latest on the woes, water woes in Nelson Mandela Bay, Dr. Eileen, Provincial head of the South African Human Rights Commission in the Eastern Cape, and Nelson Mandela Bay Water Crisis Committee member, Sia Mama. Good evening to you, and thank you very much for joining us tonight here on In Focus. From what the opposition is saying, Dr. Eileen, humanitarian disaster is looming in drought-hit Nelson Mandela Bay. The community are blaming the officials of possibly maladministration and corruption and negligence of the infrastructure, while the municipality blames the community's high demand for potable water. How well is the Metro managing this particular crisis when it comes to managing its water resources?
Good evening, and good evening to your viewers. The Commission is very much aware of this looming, what we are not going to call a crisis, but rather a catastrophe. We would note that the right to have access to water is a very specific right that is enshrined in the Constitution, and that we need to make sure that access to this right is not by any means infringed upon by anything like maladministration or not having planned for something that we have under good authority was actually within the knowledge of the municipality. So in respect of what the Human Rights Commission is currently undertaking, is we have called for an urgent meeting with the mayor of the municipality next week under the leadership of Commissioner Eileen, so that we can unpack what is the short, medium and long-term plans of the municipality to make sure that the rights of the residents in the municipality are not infringed upon.
Yeah. So you would want to get to the bottom of what the mitigation strategy is as far as dealing with these water shortages. The Deputy Minister of Water saying that there are delayed water projects in the Nelson Mandela Bay. Are you aware of this, and what are the delays about?
Well, the Commission has engaged with the municipality previously, as our previous meeting with the mayor was in March. You would recall there were allegations of contamination of the water within the municipality, and we were very clear to request certain information from the municipality that should have been submitted to us in March. The municipality requested an extension to April, and to date we don't have the relevant information, despite the undertakings from the municipality. So the purpose of our engagement with the mayor next week will be to obtain the information that should have been submitted to our office to be able to assess what is the administrative concerns of the municipality when it comes to water provision. And if that information is not forthcoming, we will be subpoenaing the office of the mayor and the municipality.
All right. Sia, do you have hold of this information that the South African Human Rights Commission is asking for? How are you assessing the situation as far as the Metro's ability to manage the short or scarce water resource?
So what I can say is good luck to the Human Rights Commission with getting that information. And what we have to understand here, Thabo, is that here we're dealing with politicians who are not able to put their differences aside and put the interest of residents in the forefront. And I mean, yesterday we received reports that Treasury tried to find solutions in intervening in the situation, but the mayor was not interested in taking up that offer. And with Treasury as well, not because of the response of the mayor, couldn't come to intervene in the situation. So you could see that there's also the problem of egos. And you mentioned earlier about the delay in those projects in delivering the phase 3 of the Orange River pipeline. And that's also because of political party fighting within council, which has delayed the adjustment budget to pass. So we're also dealing with, and this proves the point as well, that these egos and political parties were not able to put their egos aside in solving the problem. And this also is a problem that also dates back in 2018, by the way, where the coalition government was led by the DA and the ANC contestation, which also delayed this problem. And the 300 million that was sent by Treasury could not be spent, and it has to be sent back because of fights and infights that were happening in council. In fact, part of this money was spent into court cases, and so it tells you the gist of the problem. And as residents and as part of the water crisis committee, we've tried to get the municipality into conversation with us around, because we've had people who are sick from the water despite boiling the water. We've had people who've had bad reactions to the E. coli that has been poured into the water. And there's been reports by the Department of Health that even children have died from the overdose of E. coli into the water. And we've called the municipality to say, we the residents, we're concerned, we need answers. But they didn't honor the invite, but rather they came into a live television to brag that they're being peer reviewed by Cape Town and other cities, regardless, and caring less about being peer reviewed by the people who are directly affected by the water. So what we're saying is good luck to the Human Rights Commission with getting that information.
All right. Now, look, what we're dealing with here is water possibly running dry by the end of June. Let's talk about this issue of consumption remaining high despite warnings to reduce consumption. Are the residents the reason why the Metro is over-extracting their daily quota?
So let's talk about, let's put it this way, Thabo. A report was presented to MPEC last Friday, and that water in Nelson Mandela Bay that could fill about 2 dams, which is the Churchill Dam, and I forgot the name of this dam now, and 34% of this water is through water leaks. And these are water leaks, and of course, overconsumption, but this is constituted by water leaks that residents are reporting and won't go through to the municipal toll-free number. They would call. You can call it now and try your luck. And this is despite people reporting water for days and weeks without water leaks being attended. So that's another problem that we have to consider, that also runs into the issue of the overconsumption. A municipal truck would pass a water leak and when residents come and call the municipal truck to fix this water leak, the municipal truck will come and explain to residents that no, the protocol is that you must report, you must phone the municipality, you must have a KA reference number so that we can attend to this. Without a reference number, we cannot attend to this. Now, within this bed of the crisis of day zero, we can't be dealing with that. There should be negotiations with workers, with unions around how to work around this issue, because we're in the bed of a catastrophe. If I could quote the colleague from the Human Rights Commission. And this also shows the unpreparedness, because this is an issue that has existed now for over 7 years. That how can you bring boreholes in August while we're facing day zero by end of June? So this also talks about bungling and the municipalities keeping on the job.
Dr. Eileen, as he puts it, it's been 7 years, this water catastrophe. does the Human Rights Commission have within its armory tools, firstly, to force the municipality to give you the necessary information, but two, to take care of its infrastructure? I mean, to come up with plans and policies to ensure that people don't have to drive back to the metro when there is clearly a leaking pipe. Somebody just needs to fix it if they've got the means and the know-how.
Thank you, Tabo, and thank you, Mr. Mama. You're raising pertinent questions. Number one, Mr. Mama, you've indicated that there's a lack of communication from the municipality. So if there's an overconsumption and if there's a risk that is a high risk, and we've noted from media reports and other stakeholders as well that there's no proper communication towards residents and members of the community on how to limit consumption and at what stages the limiting of consumption would be most beneficial. So we would note from the Bill of Rights the right to have access to information as well. That is a constitutional right, and we need to enable our residents to make the decisions accordingly by sharing information. Now, Tabo, you asked me whether we have the machinery.
Before you come to that, Sia, can I just ask you to mute your mic just for a sec, because it's giving us feedback, and then I'll ask you to unmute in a moment. All right, Dr. Eileen, you're saying you are addressing the question of if you've got the tools to be able to deal with it.
Whether the Commission has the tools. Yes, Tabo, we do. That's why I've mentioned we've now put the Mayor on terms to meet with the Commission on an urgent basis, because they've been lacking in communication, and they've been neglecting to provide us with the feedback required. Now, in terms of the Human Rights Commission's Act, as well as the Constitution, we can now ensure that that information is forthcoming by serving notices or subpoenaing the municipality. But we do hope that the information, however skeptical Mr. Mama is maybe in this regard, will be forthcoming when we do sit down with them next week. However, the machinery is available, and we also have a mandate to take the matter to court if that's necessary. So what we want to do now is we want to look at the short, medium, and long-term plans of the municipality to ensure that the rights that are contained in the Bill of Rights are not infringed upon if it's preventable. That's why there's a proper assessment that is being done in the office in respect of the information that is provided to us, in respect of complainants approaching our office, and us monitoring what is going on the ground. And thank you, Mr. Mama. We will definitely be phoning that helpline to test for ourselves the responsiveness, so that once we do feed back into the municipality's management forum, we can tell them that, in fact, our investigations and the information on the ground proves that there's no responsiveness, so that we can ask the question, are we detailing what needs to be done in the short term? Yeah. Are we, in fact, enabling residents to assist the municipality in the limitation and prevention of this day zero? So, no, Tabo, to answer your question, we will definitely put the machinery in place, and also to maybe touch base on one of the points that Mr. Mama has also raised in respect of the national intervention. We are not just limiting our communications with the local municipalities and the district municipalities. We are engaging with the Department of Water Affairs as well. We are in the process of formalizing a meeting with them, in fact, as early as tomorrow morning, to assess. You would know that there are certain conditional grants that are provided to municipalities upon request and upon application. We want to assess and see how far has the municipality gone to ask the assistance and intervention in terms of WISIF grants, in terms of national intervention, to prevent this occurrence and from this affecting not the residents but the most vulnerable in our communities.
Let me tell you what else we will do, Sia. I'm sure we'll have you back on Sunday, because the Metro has indicated to us that they are willing to come and talk to us to answer to some of these issues. So we'll have them back on Sunday, and hopefully we'll get some more answers as to what is happening here. But let's leave it there for tonight. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much for coming on. That is Dr. Eileen, Provincial Head of the Eastern Cape South African Human Rights Commission, as well.